Happy to see you today. We will talk about patterns, and I actually prepared a lot of products to show you with different patterns, books and papers and textiles. So if you are interested in pattern design and surface pattern design, I'm very happy to share with you my experience as a surface pattern designer. And also here will be a Q&A session. So if you have any questions about pattern designs, please, you're very welcome. So let's start from the beginning. What is pattern design? Actually, it's any element that can be repeated, like here you see in this magazine is printed my pattern with a simple tulip, which is repeated seamlessly. And you also see patterns on furniture, on textiles, on wallpapers, on any. Here you see also this is a more complicated pattern, but it can be repeated without any end. It's a special paper to glue it on their packaging and so on. So surface pattern design is something that is really very accessible to everyone who is into drawing, because you can create in your own style, so you don't have to draw something very realistically. You can just draw some simple flower like these stickers that I created, and then repeat it many times and make it seamless, repeat seamless. So I really believe that if you want to see your illustrations on some products, pattern design is a very accessible way to do this. So let me share a little bit with you of my designs. For example, here is a t-shirt with vector pattern. It was created in Adobe Illustrator. So first I also drew a sketch and then vectorize it in Adobe Illustrator. And it's a little bit more complicated because of the overlaps. But also you can create a pattern by combining different elements. For example, on this bag is another of my patterns, and it was created not in a different way. First, I drew several separated leaves and some plant elements, and with markers in a sketchbook, then I scan it and put together in Adobe Photoshop with the pattern make tool. But as you see, it looks different. Oh, also I have it in two colors, on the black background and on the white one. So it's really very easy to manipulate with the colors in digital programs too when you're working with patterns. This is another pro for another positive moments about working with patterns. Then when you create it in Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, you can easily change the color palette, and having the same shapes, you can make 3, 4, 5 or how many you want color combinations, and then make a collection. For example, taking a tiny element of the pattern and make the complement pattern to the main one. Also here some other products with my patterns. You can print it on anything as I already shared it with you. So here is a gift bag, and also the same pattern is printed on this poster and gift paper. This one is also a little bit more complicated because it was made with markers on paper, and then I scan it and also make the seamless repeat in Illustrator. But I love it because you see here is a texture of their marker. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but it's the result is different. When I work in Adobe Illustrator, I usually do not imitate any texture of the art materials, and when I work with Adobe Photoshop, I try to save this effect of markers or paint and so on. So also another example is some postcards with patterns. Of course, stickers. I think it's the most accessible, the most easiest way to try your patterns, to see it on stickers. because they doesn't cost much, but it's really pleasant to see your pattern on a real product. Yeah, thank you for writing the questions. I will look through them and answer. I also received questions in the direct messages before the live. Those of you who saw my stories and sent me the questions, thank you very much. I definitely will answer everything today. So I just saw somewhere here. Hi, my name is Tars. Oh, sorry if I pronounce it not correctly. And I am a great admirer of yours. Lots of greetings from us. Thank you very much. And what else I want to do? Yeah, here's an example of a cup. Sorry, I don't know why I'm talking so fast. I think I'm always nervous on these lives. So here's a cup with also the repeated element with this. I think today I just want to share with you this idea that you can draw one flower, draw it a little bit different several times, and then put in Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Photoshop and another program. It can be Procreate, and then make a repeat. It's really not complicated at all. And then you can print it on the product you like, on any goodies, and have it at your home and enjoy it and admire. I love your work. I'm wondering if you ever do a video on color combinations. Yes, actually, I did a workshop, actually 2 workshops on how to work with colors. One of them is about how to work with references, where I share my method of working with different reference. It can be your own photo, maybe it can be an illustration, something else, how to analyze it, how to extract the colors and understand how to make combinations and then apply it to your designs. So one workshop is on color reference, and another one is named Your Color Wheel. There I explain how it's easy and better work with art materials that you love and how to make beautiful color palettes out of these materials. Because when we open any program on a computer, we usually get lost with millions of colors, and it's really often not easy to decide which color to use, because in digital world we have no limits of colors, and when we have no limits, can be a bit frustrating on how to choose the color palette. So if you're interested, yeah, I have 2 of these workshops. They're available. I think you can they're in my bio, in the link tree, and if you want, you can start with the color guide, which is a PDF with the simple information about color combinations and how I use them in my patterns, with examples of my sketchbooks and color combinations from there. So another example that I wanted to share with you is this book. I created illustration for the cover with the pattern, with this nice touch of gold which was added, and also I will find here some pages with super simple patterns, and again you see it's just a repeating of almost similar element. It's a little bit different because I think it's not very interesting to repeat exactly the same elements, so every time it differs a little bit, sometimes their size, proportion, and so yeah, here's a lot of such stoppers. What is the name for that? When you see my different patterns here. So I hope this can inspire you to play with patterns and to create something very. Let me know what programs do you use, applications, do you work in Illustrator, Photoshop, or maybe Procreate? Because I think that Procreate is the easiest one to start with. Yeah, and let's go through the questions from the direct messages. You asked me, how can I find my niche in patterns? I like to draw every motif that I see, and I can't decide. It's a very interesting question. I think the same as with our lives, we can love many things in our lives, But how we usually decide? Do you really need to decide? This is my first question. You can try many things. You don't need to decide if you don't want. But it's really easy to evolve, to develop your artistic style or anything else if you're focused, and if you evolve the only one in one direction, when you are not doing million of tasks simultaneously, but when you're defining, okay, I really love to work with some vivid colors, or maybe I love to work in the blue-yellow color palette, or I like to work maybe with some realistic portraits, or drawing dogs, or maybe some simple or abstract artworks. And to understand what niche do you like in creating patterns, you should ask yourself and to notice what exactly do you like. Maybe when you're doing collecting a mood board on Pinterest or somewhere else, it would be nice first to collect and put there, okay, I love everything, and like this, and this, and then open it one more time with a fresh eye and make one more time. Okay, what I love more from this mood board, and just delete the things that or put together the ones that you feel more connected. And a day after, you can do this again and again, and at the end you will have, I don't know, maybe 10 pictures, and then try to find something common in them, because it's impossible to like everything. Obviously you love something more than other styles. Maybe some colors are more popular in your choice, and some shapes, or also you can ask a friend, maybe art related or not, to look through your mood board and just share their opinion, what they see in common in the artworks that you choose. Because sometimes from our side we can think, okay, I like everything and I don't see any common patterns in these illustrations. But when people with another view, they look at your mood board and they can notice maybe all the artworks are very emotional, or maybe all the artworks are about the character and or the color palette that you use. Someone else can notice these things instead of you and help you to realize what is your artistic style about, and what patterns, if you're talking about patterns, would be nice to create. Another question was how to make money with this career, how to earn money with patterns. And there are, of course, several directions. First of all, I think the most popular is licensing patterns. When you create pattern and a brand or company, they buy rights on using your pattern, there can be many conditions. Sometimes they buy the all rights and buy the rights and then you can't use this pattern. But I prefer to make it not all inclusive, but to use it for some period of time, and you can also sell this pattern, the licensee, exclusively or not exclusively. When you sell it exclusively, then it means that only this brand can use your pattern for some period of time or forever. Or when you make a non-exclusive licensee, then you can sell the same pattern through different companies. And when they use it, for example, some company use it on the textile, another on the cups, another on the stickers and the books, and you receive the royalties from every sale of this unique product. So I think it's the most common way to earn on patterns. Another one, when you sell some products by your own, you can print it on any stationery, on textiles, but then you have to sell the product, and it's really, for me, it sounds like not the easiest way, but for some artists it works well. Another option is to maybe print some posters with your patterns and also make a store online and sell it there. So, and one more options that I would mention today is to put it on their upload it on the platforms like Spoonflower, Pattern Bank, or any others. When you upload your digital pattern, and then other clients of this website, they buy your pattern and some products with it. On the Spoonflower, they can buy the different types of textiles or lining, and you receive the little percentage of this sale. Or on Pattern Bank, they actually buy license on your patterns, and it also works. Okay, another question was what software do I use to create seamless patterns? And the answer is really very simple. Mostly I use Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop because they give me more possibilities to work with complicated patterns. Of course, you can use Procreate, but for me it's not the most. It's really very easy way to create in Procreate. But there, for me, it's not convenient because I can't work with the layers and overlappings well. If I want to make the pattern with these interweavings, like that one, in Procreate, for me, it would be a bit more complicated to comparing to Adobe Illustrator, for example. Okay, and by the way, it's interesting to know if you use any other software to create surface pattern design. Please share in the comments. Another question was how to find inspiration to create patterns. And here the same with creating any art. Inspiration is everywhere, and it's not something that you have to search for. Actually, I feel like all we need is to open our eyes and look around, because for me everything can be inspiring, like pieces of paper on the ground randomly thrown by someone can make a beautiful composition, or a flower with a beautiful gradient on the petals, or maybe just a wall with some texture, or the shadow of which is on the ground, and the leaves which are waving on the wind. All these create patterns, and what we need is to look closely and think not about the object that it's leaves and or shadow, but to see the shapes that it creates, to see this combination of colors and some interweavings, or some repetition of the element, like the wind on the sand. It creates some waves, and it's also a pattern, and we can look at these, make some sketches to repeat these waves and create something very beautiful based on this simple inspiring moment. Please let me know if you have any other questions about patterns or anything else actually. Yeah, and there was also a question in the direct about my dog, about my pug. So as I promised to answer all the questions, the question was what's her name? Her name is Pocky. She's actually 14 years old, very very old pug. So, but I hope she will live more. Okay, and the question was about platforms, but I think I already shared with you Spoonflower and Pattern Bank, but also some simple platforms like Society6 or Redbubbles. It works like a print-on-demand platforms. There you upload your files. It can be pattern or just simple illustration. And then when someone buy a product like notebook, like phone case or tote bag or t-shirt, when someone buy a product there on the site, you get their margin a piece of that payment, and the client received the product which is printed by that platform such as Redbubble Site6. And also on the Spoonflower, you can order the sample with your textiles. When you upload there some patterns, you can order a piece of fabric with the samples of each pattern, and it's fun to receive, to look at actually, because when we have in our mind, okay, I want to have this pattern in this scale, it's really nice to print it even on the paper if you have a printer, because many things depends and change how we perceive, how we see the pattern on the scale. Because for example here also I printed some patterns in a Sobich scale that it's only a leaf on this square, and when I received this fabric I saw, okay, it looks not so well as in this scale, or here's the same pattern you see. So if you work with patterns, it's really very helpful to use any printer, even the black and white one, just to see the scale of the shapes before you are sending the file to the customers. What colors do you use for reference for printing Pantone? If I get your question right, I use this guide, the Pantone guide, so they have my colors here, and usually I just look at my sketchbooks and on my computer and compare the color I want with the number here. I just compare, okay, which one is better for the cohesive combination, for example number 7625C or 7626C, and so I do with the whole color palette, comparing how they work together. This is actually I don't like it very much, because I often try to put them very closely, and sometimes it's easy if they're together near like this one, but sometimes it's not very easy if I want to compare this color with that color. I mean that I put them really closely to have the very real view of what I will have on the product. But their colors, these colors, they work well. I mean that I like that I see the real color, because working on the computer, you know that colors on the screens are not the same that will be printed. It's sad, but it's really obvious. What else? Yeah. Is it probable that the print on demand doesn't print good quality and the customer complains to you? How does it work then? There are different prints on demands. I agree that most platforms they make not the high quality prints, but the price is also really low there. So for me it's something that I know, because I can't explain the high quality of the printing when I order a unique case for a low price. When I don't have this experience when customers complain to me, because buying something on Redbubble, they're responsible for the quality of the printing is a Redbubble platform, and they have the whole income, almost whole income. I mean the most of the income of that sale, but it doesn't mean that all the print on demand platforms print something not the high quality, because for example this tote bag was printed on the dog cotton. Unfortunately they closed during the pandemic, but anyway I printed this for, I don't know, 4 years ago or something like this, or 3 years ago, and it still looks great even were in several laundries, and I use this tote bag a lot. But from the very beginning, because they first print their textile, they take the big piece of textile, print your pattern on that, and only that they make these cuts and sew it, put it together. So it their approach of printing, not only the high quality, but the way they do this by first making the textile and then making a tote bag. It really differs from many platforms who print on demand, because usually they just take a ready-made tote bag, put it and print it over without, so they don't make a textile first, they print it on the ready-made tote bag or t-shirt or anything else. And also this one, I forgot the name, but this is a Lithuanian company, and they also, there were several towels and that I ordered on their, that they made for me, and this quality is also great. This is linen, not the cotton I mean, and it's not very vibrant, but it was also something that I knew that will be not vibrant, but the quality of the printing is also great. And this is again, you see, looking at this from the outside, that they first print on the textile and then make their product. So if you want to have the good quality product printed with your design, pay attention on how this platform work with how they produce their products. If they first make a textile and only then construct a t-shirt or something, then it will be good one. You're working for which company? The textile brands, I mean. I don't work for some specific companies. I have collaborations with different companies, and usually they are limited in time. They buy rights on using my patterns for a year, 2 or 4 years, and so I'm not working on some specific brand. Okay. Oh, sorry, there are so many. Okay. What else I wanted to share with you? Yeah, about, so if you only started with the pattern designs, really try to print them on paper or textile to see how they work in real life, because on computer we can see something in a very small size, and especially if you want to have it on the wall or somewhere else, it's better to test it before make the final product, just to make a little sample, but in the real scale, to see how, if it works properly or not. Yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to share with you today about patterns. It was just some short intro about pattern products and so on. Yeah, I have even this tiny thing with its holder phone grip. I did a bunch of them, maybe 15 designs with different, and they have a little stripe of this textile, but it's with my pattern also. Just wanted to share with you the variety of the products where you can apply your patterns. And for me, it's really incredible and inspiring to see how your designs live on real products in real life. Also, if you're interested in creating patterns, Pattern Camp is still open. It's working till the end of summer, and next Wednesday I will host a workshop on how to create complicated compositions like this one with different interweavings. And this workshop will be all about how to work with shapes and layers, and how to make it this pattern repeated. First we will create it on paper, and the next month I will show you how I work in Adobe Illustrator with making this seamless repeat digitally. Thank you very much for joining this live. If you still have any questions, you are very welcome to write them in the comments or send me the message in the direct. And hope to see you next time. Bye. Have a nice Friday.